Don't don't you love that?
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Who made that theme?
I don't know. I
Yeah.
don't know.
Hey guys, welcome once again to the DJ Talk Show. This is George, and we have a special returning
Yeah,
champion.
yeah. Hey guys, it's John Q back again. It's been a long time, I
2 years.
know.
2 years.
Yeah, it's been 2 years. It's ridiculous.
2 years. So
But
before I even ask you where have you been, I gotta crack open a nice bottle of Johnny Walker Blue.
yeah, it figures you'd open up something nice since
Yeah.
we're virtual, right? And I can't have a sip of that. Nice.
Oh,
Awesome.
you can explain to the people while I prepare my drink.
Yeah, thanks. I'm
I'm gonna
stuck with just drinking vodka and cranberry over here, and you're drinking the good stuff. I'll tell you, you've been doing, before I get into like what I've been doing, you've been doing a great job with keeping the show alive. So appreciate that it's not gone unnoticed.
Thank you.
You've had some great guests on and talking about some great topics, all of which have gotten me very interested in. Yeah, cheers. All of which have gotten me very interested in kind of coming back on and getting back into the mix here. I've been busy with work primarily, and also with family life and getting my daughter ready for college. So it's been just a lot of regular, boring life stuff. Trying to still,
Holy stuff.
keep DJing stuff alive and still doing some gigs here and there, but yeah, it's just been the boring life stuff that's been keeping me away. But now, one good thing, if you can say any good thing about this situation we're in with COVID, is that we've got some home time, more home time
Right.
to ourselves. So I figured, hey, I was watching a recent episode with you and DJ Hans, and I figured, you know what? You guys touched on some really good things. I want to get back on camera and talking to you about this because it was good stuff, and it's definitely relevant, right?
Right.
So that's the long and the short of it.
All right. Well, you got a nice T-shirt there you're wearing.
Yeah, representing these guys, South Florida DJ Association. So shout out to those guys. I hope everybody is safe, and I know all DJs and our friends and family at the South Florida DJ Association are going through some rough times right now. So, shout out to all those guys.
Yeah, and to all the DJs out there as well in the universe, in
Yep,
the web universe, DPR, which is also
yep.
local here to South Florida.
DPR guys as well. Yeah, yeah. Shout out to all those guys. Hang in there. Everybody really in hospitality. I mean, I know that expands to retail and whatnot, but it's a tough time. So,
Yeah.
one of the things that you guys talked about last night is what DJs are doing right now in this downtime. And that's kind of what got me into talking with you and saying, hey, you know what, let's get back into an episode and talk about some of those topics you guys hit on.
Okay, so I'm all ears.
So, I don't want to poke fun and I don't want to be too harsh,
Okay.
but you guys did mention that there's a lot of DJs that are doing live events on social media,
Live
Facebook
streaming.
Live, and live stream stuff. And like I said, I don't want to be harsh. Everybody has their own style of doing things and camera angles, and you touched on it, the camera in the face, which is just, I don't know. It's like I said, I don't want to be harsh. Everybody's got their own thing and their own thought process. I've seen some really good ones as far as camera angles and audio quality and all that stuff, and I've seen some really bad ones. And setting themselves apart is important for live streams, right? And that's one thing you guys were talking about. And it's hard to do, as DJ Hans mentioned. When you're watching somebody DJ, if they're not beat juggling and finger drumming and everything, just watching somebody mix is really not that entertaining. Even
Right.
if you see somebody live, it's like after 5-10 minutes, you're like, okay, let me get back on the dance floor.
Right.
So what do you do to differentiate yourself, right? And I guess there's many things, and that's probably a whole show in itself to talk about that. But that carries over to when you're out doing live gigs too. What sets yourself apart? What you're a house DJ or you're a hip hop DJ. What sets you apart? You're open format DJ. Well, what are you doing different to make yourself unique, right? Again, another topic on its own, another show on its own.
Yeah.
But what I really liked is when Hans touched on a suggestion about, clearing up or cleaning up your music and your database and your
Your
crates,
crates. Yeah.
your playlist, etc. So I thought that was an awesome suggestion, probably something that many DJs, including myself, probably you too,
Right.
need to do, and this is a good time to do it. And that really hit home for me because recently I switched from Tractor to Serato.
Right.
So opportunity came about where I could, get a Serato controller, Pioneer SX3 controller, and I decided to switch to Serato. I used Serato early on and liked the features and functionality that Tractor had at the time, so I switched to Tractor and used Tractor for many years. But since then, Serato's come out with some great improvements, and they're where Tractor was in my eyes back then, with
Right.
some added features and
Right.
functionality, right? I know I'm going to get crucified for that, but just things that were important to me anyway. So the music management part of it, I'm really now focused on more than ever, because with that controller, and not giving too much detail out, but I guess I inherited a music collection. So
Right.
in addition to what I had in Tractor, which in my eyes and the way I wanted things, it was very clean, right? The tags were all updated and I had playlists, and Tractor has a great feature that it automatically creates playlists based on genre, which of course I know you can do things with Serato that are similar. But my point is, it was clean, really clean, but it was, smaller than this collection that I inherited. So although I'm very thankful for this music that I just got along with this controller, it's a mess, to say the least. The crates and everything, it's a mess and it needs to be cleaned. So you and I have spoken quite a few times about, what are you doing to manage your database? How are you doing it? How are you tagging stuff? How are you, making smart crates, if you're making smart crates, because I love that feature too. And so back to Hans's comment about using this time to get into your database and really clean it up, whether it's a real mess or you just have to eliminate some music, you want to make some new playlists, new crates. I just thought it was great.
And even discovering some music that you have in your crates that you didn't even know existed.
Exactly. So that's a great thing to do. I think DJs should be doing that right now. Some DJs have their playlist and their crates to a point that they're comfortable with, right?
Mm-hmm.
Everybody, is comfortable with their own controlled chaos, their junk drawer, so to speak. But I'm sure we could all do better. And again, this is great downtime to be able to do that.
Right.
And the other thing that crossed my mind is, what do you do as a DJ to try to keep yourself relevant, to try to possibly make money? But those are slim chances if you're trying to make money on the internet, especially with a live mix.
Right.
But think outside the box. Like, there's got to be some opportunity there. What can you do virtually that might make you money? There's probably some opportunities there. I don't want to give away everything. Like we were talking about the other day, I don't want to give away all the crack, right? So, exactly. But I just want DJs
Could you touch on that a little bit, though?
Giving away the crack?
Yeah. Well, at least on the suggestion that we gave to a fellow DJ of ours.
Yeah. So a fellow DJ of ours normally does some DJing for fitness centers, for gyms. So he goes into gyms when they're having class type sessions and he DJs for them, which I think is a great idea. And I know quite a few DJs that do that as well. But this particular friend of ours does that. And, I came up with the idea, thought about the idea. I don't know if anybody else has come up with this, but those gyms or those trainers must be, and if they're not, they should be, is an idea for them too. They should be doing some sort of training virtually. Think about a Peloton type of situation where you're watching the screen and there's others, watching their screen and doing exercises. So I said, well, why don't you link up with those trainers or those gyms and do your live mixes as part of that with them?
Right.
Whether the gym or the trainer is in a position to pay you or not, maybe you can just keep ties with them, keep good relations with them. I mean, you're doing live mixes anyway, and you're
Anyway,
not making money off of it. So
that's the key. That's the key right there. That
yeah,
what you just said, and I hope every DJ understands that. So you're going on live, doing free mixes for your other friends or DJ friends. You're not making any money out of it. But if you have a client that's in the gym,
yeah,
partner up with them. The gym is going to love you for
right.
doing that,
Right.
even if you did it for free.
You're helping them out. Exactly. Maybe they're in a position that they can pay you. Maybe they're charging their clients for that virtual workout. I don't know.
Right.
But even if they're not, it's good relations. It's someone you've done work with in the past. Why not help them out? And again, you're mixing live for nothing right now. This at
Right.
least forms that or keeps that relationship for when, business comes back again, which we will rebound from this.
And
You
let's
know,
not forget just the business, the people that are actually working out. They
yeah,
also have events.
exactly. So you're staying relevant to the gym owner or the
Patrons.
trainer, the patrons. It's just a win-win in my eyes. So
It is.
we threw that suggestion out to a friend of ours. Hopefully he takes it and runs with it. And if you
I
guys are
think he
doing
did.
the same, yeah, that's good.
He
Good.
did. He did.
So if you guys are doing something similar or have done similar gigs, there's an idea for you.
Yeah.
Just kind of thinking, again, outside of the box a little bit.
And if you guys are thinking of something or you thought of something, please let us know on the comment field because we definitely want to know
Yeah,
if it's something you want to share with us.
yeah, and I think you should. We all compete against each other in one shape or form, but we all are very close knit community. At least, like again, South Florida DJs, these guys. Most of the DJs we know, yes, we compete against one another in some shape or form. But in the grand scheme of things, I mean, especially in times like this, we all need to kind of come together and share these ideas. It's not going to take food off your table by
Right.
kind of throwing an idea out there. Again, there's DJs all over the country, all over the world, so we can all share with these suggestions. Um, you know, my comment about giving the crack away, that's another thing that we touched on. When you're giving, live mixes, you're doing live mixes, it's a little bit hard for the average person to record your mix. But when you're posting your mixes on sites like, SoundCloud and Hear This, and you're just throwing mixes out there constantly. Now I
Spotify.
have Spotify, exactly. It's just, yeah, Spotify and Apple Music, all of these. It, it's like a double-edged sword. You want to do that to some degree so you can, it's like proof of concept. Yes, I know how to DJ. Here's some of my music, here's some of my technique or what have you. But you're giving all your crack away
Mm-hmm.
because if I was a client of a DJ, I'm just going to go download all his music or make
Right.
playlists off Spotify.
Right.
And when I have a party,
I just play it off of that.
I'm just going to play it off of that. I have you. You're the DJ, but you're playing for me and I didn't pay anything for you. You know what I mean? It's not going to work in every client situation, but I just think that, it's
Just
not a good thing to do.
right. Just to touch up on that, I've noticed a couple of DJs doing 10-minute mixes or 15-minute mixes and then posting it on their website or social media. And that's what they use for to show their clients.
Perfect
You know,
idea. Perfect
and
idea.
that's great. 15
Yep.
minutes, 10 minutes, that's all you need. You can do a Latin one, a disco one, you can do the latest hip hop and pop music. If you want to do, house, you can do that. Or if you want to do some obscured ones, you can do that too, just to show your clients that you have, you can go anywhere.
Yeah, that's a perfect idea. So that's what I
But an
mean.
hour mix.
Yeah, that's the proof of concept mix, right? And guys, before you jump all over me, because I have, I don't know, probably 120 mixes or so
That you're different
online,
though, but that's different.
but I'm different. So I've been a DJ since, I don't know, 87 or so a long time. And I'm really semi-retired from DJing. I'm not, somebody that's doing this on a weekly basis.
Let,
So for me to give my mixes away,
it's fine. And
it's
you're also
fine.
really not a mobile DJ.
And I'm not a mobile DJ.
Right.
So a little bit of history, when I started DJing, I started mobile DJing. Okay. I was really young. I was 17
Right.
years old, and, getting the high school gigs and the weddings and stuff were easy.
Right.
And once I was old enough to get into a club, I started club DJing, and just, fell in love with that, and stayed with that, doing mobile gigs occasionally throughout the years, but really focused on club DJing. So again, for me, it's, I don't care.
Right.
Go
You can
listen to
whip
the
out
mixes.
yeah,
Yeah,
mixes left and right. It doesn't really matter because
right.
you're not a mobile DJ. You're not losing clients by posting your mixes.
Correct. I'm not a
Um,
crack dealer,
right.
so I can give away all the crack. But if
And
you're if you're
also the music you're playing is very unique. So it's not top 40 music either.
right, right, I'm mostly playing, house music, which is what I used to play, and playing some drum and bass, and playing, specific
That
genres.
techno set you did the other day.
Thanks,
That's
thanks, man.
fire.
Yeah, yeah, you liked it. It
Fire.
was it was good stuff.
I did not know that was in you, bro.
Yeah, dude, I've been
Wow.
hey, I survived the 90s in New York, so I've been through many, many of raves.
Yeah.
So the techno stuff is something near and dear, even the new techno stuff, which is what I was playing. But yeah, I love that stuff, and I love drum and bass too. So
Yeah.
those are some genres that I like to play. I like everything, but yeah, to your point, I'm not, going out there and playing open format unless it's a gig here or there. So I don't care about putting
Right.
mixes online. But for you guys that, this is your bread and butter, don't give it all away. And I
Right.
think the analogy that I used besides the crack dealer was, imagine you're an artist, and you normally get paid for your art.
Right.
And now we're in quarantine and you're painting like a crazy man in your house or studio and just giving away your art.
Right.
There's no value to it. When we
No.
rebound
Um,
from this, you're not going to be able to sell your paintings.
right. Now the other thing that we've touched on many shows with different people, and I don't know, I feel like a broken record, but there's no uniqueness between these DJs.
There's there's
All the mainstream DJs, especially now, they're all playing the same exact set that another DJ's playing. Nothing different.
they are
And then there's nothing different in the style that they're playing. So
yeah, I
it's
have so
very
much
hard.
to
Yeah.
say. Yeah, you're right. And I have so much to say about that. And it's hard to just pinpoint why that's happening. I think there's a lot of things that are causing that. It's not just the DJ. The
Mhm.
DJ, yeah, you would think like he should be driving that, and programming his music a certain way to be unique. And they do have that control, or we as DJs have that control to do it. But there's a lot of other elements. You and I have been DJing for a long, long time, and when we're making comments like this, and correct me if I'm wrong, I don't want to speak for you, but
Mhm.
I think we're thinking back in the day when, let's say, there was a club situation, because we're not necessarily talking about your wedding scenario, right?
Right.
Because at a wedding, back in the day, you used to play all the other things that other wedding DJs were playing. That was a wedding. But in a club setting back in the day, there was stuff that was unique to that club, music that was unique to that club, DJs that were unique to that club, sound, and maybe being unique within that genre of music. They could build a vibe around the music that they were playing, and that particular club might be known for that music and that vibe, etc. I think now that so many clubs have just closed, basically, and I'm not just talking about COVID-19 era,
Right.
but I mean in general over the years. Look at South Beach. Of course, we're now in Florida, but even New York, the same thing happened. Like, a lot of major clubs have closed over the years. So what has become more popular now is your bar, your lounge, your sports bar that has a DJ. Um, so those environments, and again, tell me if you feel differently, you can't build the same vibe at that place. Okay. And your clientele is just all over the place in age range, all over the place in musical taste. And it's just a free for all as far as what they expect you to play. And
Right.
DJs have fallen into that, fallen victim to, I got to play anything. And that an open format has become, it could be anything. Somebody
Right.
could come up and request Elvis, and you feel pressured to play it.
Right. Um,
Agree?
yes, I do agree. I do agree that we do think of the old days and how things used to be. Um, if I'm doing a regular paid event for a client, um, it's usually going to be like a top 40 type event. Obviously, I'm going to play top 40. But ever since I started doing restaurants and lounges, I've been giving it my own flavor. And it's been working. As a matter of fact, one of the restaurants that you've covered me for, they like the vibe that you did and the vibe that I did as well. So it's a specific vibe that we're doing, and there's DJs out there not looking at that. Not only that, if you are at a bar or if you're at a lounge and people are drinking and you see everyone on their phone and they're just vibing to whatever background you're playing, I don't see the need for you to be playing top 40. I think you can mix it up. You can listen to some of the Spotify um, artists that are in there. Click on some of the 2020 and just randomly click on that, because I have found so many artists. So I mean, music that's just, I mean, I get goosebumps just thinking about it. I'm getting goosebumps right now
Yeah,
thinking
yeah,
about how good the music is. And when I play it, people do react. I mean, people come up and say, here's tip. I love this music. And I'm not lying whatsoever. I mean, you had the same
yeah.
experience
I have the
where
same
people were
thing.
coming to you saying, wow,
Yeah,
what you're doing is amazing.
yeah.
And
It,
that's,
it,
I've been used to that now.
it's happened to me in a couple of recent
A couple of
events.
places. Yeah, tell us about it a little bit, please.
And I'm not doing anything magical. I promise you, I'm not.
You've been playing a lot of the music you've played in your mixes.
Exactly. I just, how can I say this? And again, take it with a grain of salt, because these environments, you can be a little bit creative. And I don't mean creative with playing bangers, right? We're talking
Right.
about a restaurant slash lounge type of environment. It's not necessarily with a packed dance floor. It's more people are
Lounge.
vibing at the
A
bar
lounge.
and stuff like that.
Vibing lounge.
So I think as a DJ, you have to really kind of tune in. You have to tune into like that vibe, and kind of look around and saying like, well, looking around, if I was in this environment at the bar having a drink, what would I want to hear that wouldn't disrupt the vibe that's there?
Right.
Right. And vibe meaning there's no music yet. There's just the ambience, the crowd, the age of the crowd. What are you looking to accomplish if you were a customer? And that's how I look at it, and it's worked. I mean, it amazed me, because I was like thinking to myself, I'm not really doing much in my mind, but these people are like loving it, and I
Right.
can only imagine if
That's it.
and
That's
and
it.
and I can only imagine what the other DJs are doing to not get this reaction. It's like, what are you doing? And to your point, maybe they're just
Playing it
playing the
safe.
same old stuff.
Playing it safe.
So how do you correct that? I mean, that's
Learn
something.
learn new music.
Learn new music. Well,
Stop
but that's
stop playing
something.
top 40. Learn
Yeah,
all the other artists that are out there and play some of that music.
that is something that
Crate
you
digging.
can't teach, right? You either have, and that's either current times or even back when we started DJing. You either have that or you don't. So you
Right.
you can have that way of thinking a little bit outside the box, or you're going to just be with every other DJ and kind of playing off the Billboard,
Right.
top 100 or what have you, or the dance club dance Billboard, and play the same stuff or play the same reggaeton or play. It's
Yeah.
you do have, like I said before, you do have some control about the music that you're going to play.
Right. And
There's a way to please
right.
there's a way to please the people that want to hear the stuff that they know, and there's a way to please or I should say surprise people with stuff they don't know. But so many DJs are not going outside that box, and I don't mean play a
I had
128 beat remix of
right.
100 BPM song that they know, and it's the
Yeah.
same vocals,
No,
but
yeah.
that's not,
Yeah,
and
that's not the same. No, there's other things that we can play. I got last time I filled in for another DJ. They told me to play a certain genre or a certain style, and I did for most part. But I looked at the place and I said, "This is not it," And I did a lot of the things that I did at the restaurant. And this 70-year-old lady from New York came over to me. She had to be in her 70s. She was dancing by her table and with her friends, and then they came to where I was. And I always have a face like when somebody arrives to me and they're like, I know what they're going to ask for.
What do you want?
Yeah. They're going to, especially when you see an older person, they're like, oh God, I know what they're going to ask for.
Yeah.
She asked
or
for
they're going to tell you to lower it.
Well, this is the lady that was dancing at her table. She would come back and forth and dancing around. She asked for clap tone.
That's awesome.
Dude.
How did she even know? Wow. That's impressive.
Clap tone.
That's impressive. I wish that was my grandmother.
Right. So
that's awesome.
After I asked her, I said, really? Clap tone? Like she stunned me, and so I played one of the tracks, and then her friend that was there, a younger guy, came over and says, you're playing the music I like.
But meanwhile, the lady came back to you and said, I said, Eric Clapton.
Eric Clapton.
Come on. You got to take a drink. That's a good one.
I misheard. I think I need a refill. So he came by and we started talking, and they were from New York. He asked me, where are you from? I go, from New York. I always tell everybody I'm from New York, even though I was raised here. And he says, this is the music that
wait a minute. That's hilarious.
I was raised here, but I was born in New York.
I know that.
Right.
But that's funny.
Yeah. So we started talking. He says, yeah, this is the music I like, and we played some classic house. And when I say classic house, we went with underground stuff. We didn't play all the house everybody knows.
Yeah. I might be being biased by saying this, but I really think that, the music that we're talking about, without even mentioning title and artist and stuff like that, and not even necessarily year, but the stuff that we're talking about and building a vibe, or the stuff that gets people moving.
I have to do this on camera.
It's stuff that has, more soul to it, right? And I don't mean soulful music. I mean just stuff. Cheers. I mean just stuff that has more soul to it. Like a lot of the open format stuff that I listen to.
I can't vibe to it. I really can't. Maybe I'm getting old, but I can't vibe. I can't vibe to that type of music if the crowd is not that age.
Yeah.
If I'm doing spring break, not a problem. I can vibe to all the latest hip hop, all the latest pop. Don't have a problem with it because they're feeding me at the time I'm feeding them.
Yeah.
But if I'm going to go and vibe and I'm at a restaurant and I want to set a vibe to it, I can't put that stuff on.
No.
There's just no way.
But so many DJs do, right? It doesn't matter their environment. This is the point of all this.
Right.
It's almost like it doesn't matter what environment they're in.
They just play the same thing.
The same
thing. It's a wedding.
Yeah.
It's a wedding. Everywhere they go, it's a wedding.
I don't know. Again,
so we beat that one.
We beat that one. We're just two old DJs complaining about, these young whippersnapper DJs, right?
Back in the day when I used to spin with vinyl.
Yeah. I hope it doesn't sound that way. I mean, we're really trying to be helpful with all this.
No, hey, I'm telling you to play 2020 music. I mean, go to Spotify, go to TrackSource, go to Beatport, go to all of these locations and go in there and start listening. And believe it or not, Spotify, I know it's not a DJ website, just go in there, man. Go in there and dig, because you find gold nuggets in there.
Yeah.
Gold.
You know what's kind of nice, and maybe helpful, but again, guys, think outside the box of what I'm going to say. You know, back in the day, there was no sharing of a playlist and easily accessible playlist to what a DJ played. You went to a club and you heard music, and a lot of the times you might not necessarily know what the heck the track was. So you couldn't, you know what I mean? You couldn't replicate that DJ's playlist, so to speak, because you didn't know what the tracks were. You went to the record store and tried to whistle or hum the song that you heard, and maybe you were lucky, maybe you weren't. But nowadays, it's like you can look up every DJ's live set. I don't mean Facebook Live, but like if they do a live set on YouTube or something, you can look up their playlist.
Right.
And don't do that. You know what I mean? And replicate their set. You know, you can get ideas off of that. You know, if there was, again, a couple of tracks that they played that you really liked, try to build off of those couple of tracks that you heard them play. Don't replicate their whole playlist. And I think that's what we're trying to say.
Good copy there, man.
Yeah.
Is there any other things you have in mind? Any other topics?
Any other topics? We touched on a little bit of music management. We touched on Serato, you know, me switching to Serato, which again, I'm happy with. It's been great.
Should we do an episode on playlists and how, you know, you can describe the way you used to do your playlists when obviously not coming from a mobile DJ, and then the way I lay out my playlist, and kind of compare, because we're trying to figure out, you and I are trying to figure out, because we're logical people, we're trying to figure out what is the best way to manage our library. Should we do a separate thing on that? Because we might have to show some screenshots and things.
I think so. I think that would be a good idea. Guys, if you want us to do that, comment down below. You know, again, throw some suggestions. This shouldn't be a competitive situation, right? We should be helping each other out.
Right.
And we're not saying that George and I know the best way, but there's some ideas that we have, and we'd love to share them with you. And we'd love to hear from you what some of the ways that you do it. And I'm not just talking about genre and BPM, you know, and maybe harmonic mixing in your track and your keys, but, you know, how are you building your crates, your playlists? You know, are you using sub crates? What makes sense to you? Are you tagging your music a certain way so you can easily pick certain tracks that you want? How are you doing it? You know,
how are you keeping track of new music, old music, and music that you haven't played that you need to delete?
Exactly. There's many DJs who probably are not doing that, right? And their music collection is just getting bigger and bigger and bigger.
And you see, I'm ahead of you. One disclaimer: if you're a music hoarder, this is not for you.
This is not for you. Yeah,
no.
You know what? And it's hard to let go of all of the music, because I still have hard drives that I don't use that have music on them that I just don't want to delete the hard drive, and that's fine. But when you're out there, you're a mobile DJ, you're a club DJ, and you have either your music on your laptop or your music on a external, you don't want to start to have to buy a 5 and 6 and 10 terabyte hard drive because you don't want to delete the music that you're toting. It's going to slow your computer down, and it's just a mess.
So you know, I always have something in my mind that's this doesn't sound right.
Yep.
I already have the name for this episode.
What's that?
George and John sorting crates. This music is disposable, or all new music is disposable.
It really is, unfortunately. And again, when I think about what we just said, it sounds like we're just two old DJs.
Right.
Music sucks.
And it's not. It's not.
No, but there is truth to that too. I mean, the music.
Just to touch upon that, I was speaking to another friend of ours. No, not a friend of yours. You don't know him. And I tried not to lead him into where I was going. But I said, listen, go into your folder that you've downloaded 3 to 4 years ago. Okay. He kind of sorts it the way I do, because I taught him how to do that. And I said, okay, go to your mainstream folder from 2000, I don't know, 4 years ago, right? He looked at the folder and I said, how many songs you got in there? He goes, there's 25 songs in there. I go, I want you to tag all the songs you will play at an event. You will play at, let's say you do 20 events. Out of those 20 events, you're going to play all the songs that you tag. He tagged 4 songs out of 25.
Yeah. Yeah. We even went through something similar a couple
So
of
in
months
other
ago.
words, it's disposable.
Yeah, yeah. And you and I went through something similar
Yeah.
a couple of months ago about looking up how many mixes of a particular song you have, how many remixes do you have, and how many is too much. And it's there's so much to talk about around that because
So let's do an episode of that if people want to know more.
let us know.
Yeah.
We got a lot on our chest to get off, so
Yeah.
something tells me we're making an episode about that regardless, but we'd like to hear from you
Well,
again.
there's a lot.
Yeah.
I think there's a lot to learn.
There is, but we want to hear from you guys as far as suggestions, what you guys are doing, what's
Right.
working, what's not working.
Leave it on this leave it on this video.
Yeah, leave it here. We'll read it and we'll touch on it next comment. And that could be, what would you like to see in your DJ software that you're using now that would help music management that's not there?
I got a whole list.
Yeah, yeah. I'll tell you one.
What's that?
One that Tractor has that Serato doesn't have, and Tractor had it halfway right.
Okay.
You could create a playlist in Tractor, and a playlist in Tractor is equal to a crate in Serato. You can create that playlist in Tractor and then right-click on it and remove duplicates. So if you accidentally threw duplicates into that playlist, you can remove the duplicates automatically. Why they never built this in the main music folder, I don't know. You couldn't do that in the main music folder. Serato doesn't have that at all. So these music softwares don't have it that you can go to your main music collection and just remove all duplicates. Don't know why. Tractor was halfway there with it. Serato doesn't have. So that's one thing I'd like to see. What's some of the things you'd like to see in your software?
All right, cool. Yeah, post it. Post it.
Yep.
All right. So, John, I'm going to give you the last closing moments. If you have anything else,
No, just we appreciate your support in watching and subscribing. Over the years we have increased in subscribers, in viewers, and again, thanks to George for kind of keeping the show alive. And we will be putting out much more content. Hang in there, guys. This is tough times for DJs and everybody in the hospitality industry in general. And we'll rebound from this and get much better. But in the meanwhile, use this time wisely.
Well said. All right, John. See you soon.
All right, George.